Well, good morning, everybody. It's the 8th of August, 2024, and it is 6:32 a.m. in Eagle Nest, New Mexico, and I'm reading comments this morning. Every day I do this, I enjoy it more and more. This morning, the first one is from Exposing Truth Behind Laundromat Google Reviews. I'm chuckling because it's such kind of a mundane video title, but I think it had some stuff that meant a lot to me in it. And just so if you haven't seen the video, I was going to a laundromat that had a negative reputation, both by word of mouth and in particular by Google reviews. And I was going to give it a try. And I was talking about the concept of expectations. And what I was trying to get across was it's better to have reasonable expectations than to have unreasonable expectations. If you have unreasonable expectations, you're going to be disappointed more often. And the first comment is from Renee, and the last name she has is RO6OE. Not sure how you'd pronounce that. It's good not to set your expectations too high, especially with laundromats. I like the ones you can use your card on the machines. I found those at an awesome one in Waco, Texas. Those are convenient. At where I stay up in Pahrump at Preferred RV Resort, we don't have cards, we have an app. And you can just use an app, and the app actually sends you a little message when your dryer's done or your washer's done. It's pretty cool. And really, it's good not to set your expectations too high, but I think the language is important here. And I've already read all these comments, so I know what's coming. And there's one I'm going to talk a little bit more detail about on this topic. The words high expectations and too high expectations and unreasonable expectations can be two different things, and I'm going to talk about I think an important difference there. On the same video, having traveled that road from Angel Fire through Eagle Nest around to Red River since the early 60s, it's amazing how it continues to grow like wildfire. Angel Fire started in the early 60s. Angel Fire started in the early 80s, sorry, not 60s. And I remember the ads on TV to get in on condos and property. Geez, if I only knew then what I know now. Yeah, I'd have bought Microsoft in 1982. Not 1980 also. Actually, back in the early 80s, I bought MCI was one of the first big telecommunications company after the AT&T breakup in the early 80s, and I bought some, and immediately, like in a few weeks, it like doubled my money, and I got out. I sold it. All I had to do was hang on to it for about 5 years, and I would have had $1 million or something. Anyway, 2020 hindsight. And that was from King for a Day 8725. I forgot to mention that. And Naj, I struggled with pronouncing, and she sent me a message and said, just say Naj. That's good. Same video, beautiful views, love the Dottie cam. Good thing, can you see, is Dottie visible over there? What are you doing, Dottie? Oh. All right, Dottie. Beautiful views. Love the Dottie cam. Good thing you kept an open mind. The laundromat was not as bad as the reviews. In fact, none of the word of mouth or bad reviews ended up being true that day. That's important too. Businesses change. So do people sometimes. King for a Day. Again, another note on the same, another comment on the same video. Cimarron is almost twice as far and takes twice as long to get to his Angel Fire. Because I mentioned in the video, there's a less expensive, better reputation laundromat in Cimarron. Additionally, the road to Angel Fire is pretty much a straight shot. Cimarron is mostly curvy up and down road. One might also get stuck behind slow traffic on Cimarron Road. So even if Angel Fire is more expensive, do you really save significant money? I think it's $1 less it's about $1 less, I think. I remember walking out of there thinking, wow, I spent less than $5. So I saved $1, and a quarter or something over Angel Fire going to Cimarron. It's not a huge amount of money. Percentage wise, it's big, but $1. So even if Angel Fire is more expensive, do you really save significant money? If you're using more gas, wear and tear in your vehicle, going to Cimarron, then there's your time. But the other thing to consider is Cimarron's really cool. It's a lot more historic than Angel Fire. I think you mentioned in a previous post that was created in the early '80s, and Cimarron was part of the Santa Fe Trail and was 100 years before that, was kind of in its heyday. So it's an interesting place. Susan Stevens, beautiful area. Thanks for the ride. Lori Moreno, Eagle Nest is a beautiful town. It certainly is. Let's see. Daniel K 1188. Fun fact for F-150 XLT owners: the headrest on the center jump seat will fit in the cargo space under the back seat. If you take it out, you can actually use the extra cup holders under the center console. Yeah, I've done that. I haven't. And actually, I can fold that seat down with the headrest on, I think. But anyway, there's different neat configurations you can do. Sean Wilson, 6521. I think the work that I do in the health industry requires a very specific level of expectation from myself and coworkers, as it directly impacts people's lives. Unfortunately, I regularly find my expectations are not met. Some gears in the machine just have to take added pressure to ensure the necessary outcome. It's a state of mind that tends to color other aspects of my life because of this. Someday I hope to be able to live your way. Well, Sean, number one, you're a healthcare provider. Bravo. Thank you for that service. And having, what you're talking about is you have high expectations for yourself and for others in the healthcare industry, because it really matters, doesn't it? And my hat's off to you. Bravo, Sean. That said, I want to suggest that you may have misunderstood a little of what I was trying to say there. Try not to equate high expectations with unreasonable expectations. There are situations where high expectations are kind of fuel for excellence, right? So let's not let that go. They don't mean the same thing. I can have high expectations of myself. I'm a retired healthcare worker. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I still do it a little bit. Pardon me. And here's the thing. I have very high expectations of myself when I interact with a client. Professionalism, full attention, very high expectations. And I think that that's reasonable. I have reasonable expectations for the results. I understand that not everyone is going to respond to me as a counselor. I understand that not everyone is going to get better, and that the results are going to vary. So that's a reasonable expectation. You may argue that's not a high expectation, but if I have a high expectation that everyone's going to get better, then I know I'm going to be disappointed over and over again, and I may become frustrated, and I may stop being a counselor because I get so frustrated. So I have reasonable expectations, especially when it's about things that I don't really have complete control over. I have control over being on time as a counselor, being attentive, doing my research, focusing on the client, caring. I have control over those things. So having very high expectations there is reasonable. When I start having really high expectations of other people where I don't have control, that's where I can run into problems. So there's kind of a fine line there. But again, Sean, thanks for your service. I did respond to him, and let me read my response. It's a good idea to read it too, to make sure I worded it nicely and correctly. Unrealistic expectations are not the same as high expectations. I continue to work as a licensed mental health professional despite being retired. I have high expectations of my performance, yet I acknowledge that my efforts will not always be successful. So, reasonable expectations. I had Exciting and Scary was a short that I did on this lung surgery that a Chinese surgeon did with a robot 5,000 miles away from the operating room, 5,000 kilometers away from the operating room. And M. Campbell says, this has potential to help so many people. Technology has made many surgeries safer. Many hip replacements are now partially done by robots. The accuracy they achieve at drilling out the bone for the implant is hard to equal. Insurance even covers, so it's definitely gone mainstream. I really like hearing that because I have arthritis, and I have pretty bad arthritis in my right hip. And in x-rays, it shows most of that cartilage is gone. So what does that spell? Right now, I'm okay, but eventually I'm going to need a hip replacement. So I'd like to hear that. And M. Campbell has another response to the exposing truth behind laundromat. I too try to keep my expectations in the realistic to low range because I prefer happy surprises to disappointments. Tom Baudet is credited with saying, unhappiness lies in the gap between our expectations and reality. I think he nailed it. So do I. Just remember, realistic isn't always low. Okay, realistic isn't always low. Desert Diva. I have to chuckle at myself because although you made a good point about realistic expectations, I sat straight up when I saw the RV parked in front of the laundry. It's a lazy days. It's a lazy days. It's a lazy days. Guess who has a lazy days? I've been sweltering here in La Cruces and trying to build up my courage to take my RV and tow car to cooler climates. However, mountainous roads with big drop-offs, twisting turns, and steep grades causing me to hesitate. I think the worst part is from Taos on Highway 64 to the higher elevations. Yeah, there are mountain passes here, but I will say that if you go slow, you're going to be okay. You go slow, you're going to be okay. And I met the owners of that Lazy Days. I was noticing it, and there was a fella sitting there. I said, "Is that your rig out there?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's me and my wife, and they're full timers, and they're in Cimarron Canyon, camping. Beautiful place." Pete Diaz. I feel like I got a free session on expectations. Really enjoyed this one. I'm going to use your advice. All right. That makes me feel good. Latter Day Artist says on my last reaction video, because I referenced a suggestion that Latter Day Artist had about not tracking myself on these videos. So when I move, the camera doesn't automatically move and it's not distracting. And he said, thanks for your kind comments, Rob. I like the camera better stationary, and so do I. And we have Alpha Pup 3281, who also has a Lazy Days. Says, I have a Lazy Days 2001 with the original fridge, which works fine. I'm sure I have not kept it level all the time. And Desert Diva, I think, responded to that and said, I have a 1998 mid-bath, but always level by the bubble level in my fridge. Knock on wood, but mine is the original fridge also. Red Hot in the Desert. Great video despite the rumors. That is cheap laundry. In Canada, you pay $6.75 to $10 per load depending on your temperature choices. Do they have change machines, or does the attendant give change if you need it? There was a couple of things. There was an attendant there. It was the change machine, and I saw the attendant reloading the change machine. So the answer is probably both. Um, and let's see, my typical morning was a short showing Dottie and George and Gina. All right, Gina. Gina L. I'm going to try this and see how I do. Giacone? Gina Giacone? Guccione? Gina, let me know how I did. Gorgeous. Hi, Dottie. That's her comment. And I don't want to bleed over into repeating ones from yesterday. Um, well, even if this one is a repeat, it's so nice, it's worth repeating. Anne Marie Sikorsky. Um, I've we've heard from Anne Marie before. You are such a reasonable and thoughtful gentleman, Rob. Everything you said on the drive over regards to expectations. Thank you again. And I like that. Dottie just sits and chills and waits. No barking, craziness till you return. Nice. That's my kind of doggy. And that was Silver Falcon 460. Um, I don't think I did this one. This was on Full Timer Tuesday. If I were there, I'd be sitting with you if it was okay with you first. Okay. Admiring the view, the lake and surroundings. I hope you're happy with the new binocs. And I am. I definitely am. And let's see how we're doing on time here. I'm at 16 minutes. This is a long one. I think. Okay, this is a funny one. My nomadic dream said, "Hello, laugh out loud. Thank you for responding to my comment. That was in my honest reviews from yesterday. I should probably introduce myself. Please do not get embarrassed. My name is Herbie and I'm a guy." Laugh out loud. No reason to be sorry. I found it humorous. So obviously, I thought for some reason my nomadic dream was a woman, and I said so. But I think reading this kind can actually be good for a lot of people who are on the fence about this lifestyle to be able to ask an actual full timer who actually has experience. And I responded and said, "Whoops, sorry, LOL." All right, that's let me just I had this annoying pop-up. Don't you hate pop-ups on your computer? Ridiculous things. Lori Marino, smiley face. Tom's Journeys Adventures said, very good commentary video. I like how you explained how to properly give an opinion versus making it seem mean. That's a great skill, because there's so many people offer advice, but it's kind of in a negative, nasty kind of tone that doesn't feel very good. But there was suggestion about you know, fix the camera so it doesn't move back and forth was so nicely put, and it made my content better. So anyway, I'm going to work on a new video today. I got to figure out the positive news short. It's now almost at 6:50. It's going to be 7 o'clock soon. Um, got a lot of rain the next few days. It's going to be rainy, rainy, rainy. And I'll see you on the short later this morning, and I'll see you on the long form when I figure out exactly what I'm going to do today. Thanks for watching. Take care.